The real reason why Trump won. Democrats' hypocrisy exposed. Hi, my name is Parvez Ahmed. I am the writer and editor of this video. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any important updates. Now let us begin the video. The Democratic Party often presents itself as the champion of liberal values. They claim to fight for the little guy. They promise to stand up for human rights. They vow to promote democracy around the world. This image has been carefully cultivated over decades. It is a powerful message that resonates with many Americans. But does reality match the rhetoric? Do the Democrats actually live up to their own ideals? Or are their actions often at odds with their words? Increasingly, voters are asking these tough questions. They are looking beyond the carefully crafted image. They want to see if the substance matches the style. A troubled alliance, Biden and Israel. The relationship between the United States and Israel has long been a complex and controversial one. The U.S. has consistently supported Israel, both financially and diplomatically. This is often justified in the name of shared values and strategic interests. However, this alliance has come under increasing scrutiny in recent years. Critics argue that it has come at the expense of Palestinian rights and regional stability. President Biden's stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a case in point. While expressing support for a two-state solution, his administration has also continued to provide Israel with billions of dollars in military aid. This aid continues even as Israel expands settlements in the occupied West Bank. These settlements are considered illegal under international law. This seeming contradiction has drawn sharp criticism. Opponents see it as tacit approval for Israel's actions. The Biden administration's response to the 2021 Gaza War further fueled these concerns. Despite calls for a ceasefire and condemnation of civilian casualties, the U.S. blocked multiple attempts at the United Nations to censure Israel. This perceived bias towards Israel has alienated many within the Democratic base. They see it as a betrayal of the party's stated values. Alienated allies, the case of Arab American voters. The Democratic Party has long relied on the support of minority groups. Arab Americans are a key part of this coalition. However, this support is not unconditional. Many Arab Americans feel increasingly alienated by the Democratic Party's policies in the Middle East. They see a disconnect between the party's rhetoric and its actions. This disconnect is particularly stark when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Biden's policies towards Israel have struck a nerve. Many Arab Americans see them as perpetuating the cycle of violence and oppression. They feel that their voices are not being heard. They question whether the Democratic Party truly represents their interests. This disillusionment has led to a decline in enthusiasm and engagement. This trend was evident in the 2020 election. Turnout among Arab American voters, while still significant, showed signs of waning. This should be a worrying sign for the Democrats. It suggests that their once reliable base is becoming increasingly disillusioned. The Dearborn dilemma when silence speaks volumes. Dearborn, Michigan is home to one of the largest Arab American communities in the United States. It is a Democratic stronghold. However, even here, cracks are beginning to show in the party's support. In the 2020 election, turnout among Arab American voters in Dearborn was notably lower than in previous elections. This decline is significant. It suggests that even in areas with a strong Democratic base, voters are becoming less enthusiastic about the party. This drop in turnout is not due to apathy. It is a reflection of a deeper disillusionment. Many Arab Americans feel that the Democratic Party takes their vote for granted. They see little evidence that the party is listening to their concerns. This sentiment was palpable in the lead-up to the 2020 election. Many Arab American voters expressed frustration with the lack of engagement from Democratic candidates on issues important to them. This silence spoke volumes. Trump's appeal, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." In contrast to the perceived hypocrisy of the Democrats, Donald Trump cultivated an image of blunt authenticity. He often made outrageous statements. He contradicted himself. He eschewed political correctness. Yet, for many voters, this was part of his appeal. They were tired of polished politicians who seemed more interested in saying the right thing than doing it. Trump presented himself as a disruptor, someone who would shake up the status quo. He promised to put America first, even if it meant breaking with long-standing alliances and norms. This message resonated with voters who felt left behind by globalization and weary of endless wars. While Trump's policies often contradicted his rhetoric, his directness and willingness to challenge conventional wisdom resonated with a segment of the electorate. They saw in him a refreshing alternative to the perceived hypocrisy of the establishment. The price of hypocrisy, trust, lost and won. The decline in trust in institutions is a global phenomenon. However, it is particularly acute in the United States. This distrust extends to the political system and those who operate within it. Voters are increasingly skeptical of politicians' promises. They are quick to call out hypocrisy. This cynicism is understandable. It is the result of years of broken promises and failed leadership. The Democratic Party's perceived hypocrisy on issues like foreign policy has contributed to this climate of distrust. When a party's actions consistently fail to match its rhetoric, it erodes public trust. This has created an opening for figures like Donald Trump. They can capitalize on this cynicism. They can present themselves as outsiders. They can promise to upend the system. The 2024 election will be a test of whether the Democratic Party can regain the trust of voters who feel alienated by its policies. To do so, they will need to do more than just offer platitudes. They will need to demonstrate a genuine commitment to their stated values. They will need to show that they are listening to the concerns of all Americans. Failure to do so could have profound consequences for the future of the party. Why do you think Trump won? Let me know in the comments down below.